Good evening. Good evening. Yes. Yes. Energy. Energy. Excellent. Terrific. Well, I just want you to know you clean up very well. So thank you so much for coming. My name is Marty Kaplan. I'm the director of the Norman Lear Center. And watch this branding hierarchy. The Lear Center is part of the Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism, which is part of the University of Southern California. Within the Norman Lear Center is Hollywood Health and Society. And if you can remember any of that, you're better than most people I talk to. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to have a terrific evening, partly because of you, especially because of you. The shows that are being honored tonight are amazing. Those of you who work on them already know that. Those who don't work on those shows admire you a great deal. That's why they're here. We thank you for being here. I'm especially glad this evening. It's the 15th year of the Sentinel for Health Awards. I had the privilege of starting the Norman Lear Center and Hollywood Health and Society. And the impetus for doing it was the work that we started doing with the Centers for Disease Control. And that relationship, which began in 2001, included the Sentinel for Health Award. Thrilled to be doing the 15th. And normally under these circumstances, I would say a brief thank you and welcome to a representative from the CDC, but I'm going to put him, Nitesh, on the spot. Don't applaud yet. Nitesh, would you mind standing? So let me explain something. Nitesh Parmar, hold on, is at the CDC, and he is the person inside the CDC who advocates for Hollywood Health and Society. On his flight here from Atlanta, anyone who knew he was from the CDC was eager to pepper him with questions about Ebola. The point I want to make is that the people at the CDC are public servants who are dedicated to our national health, to their profession. And Nitesh, I just wanted through you, to you, but through you also, for all of us to express our respect and gratitude for you and your colleagues for the work you do. You have at your places some truly tacky take-home swag, and if you can find any reason not to orphan them, they would be delighted. We'll understand and will recycle any petroleum products that you leave behind. And for those of you who are live tweeting, and you know who you are, our hashtag is Sentinel Awards. We're going to have a wonderful evening, and I must say that one of my great good fortune is that the director of Hollywood Health and Society and the staff that does the work day in and day out are a dream. And I could not imagine having a better partner, a better director of Hollywood Health and Society than I do have in the person I'm delighted to introduce to you now, Kate Fulb.
Thank you, Marty. Wow, this is a new podium and the microphone is right here. Well, welcome everybody. I'm super excited to see you all here tonight, and as Marty said, you do all clean up really nicely. I hope you think the same of us. Before we begin the awards, I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about us, about Hollywood Health and Society. for those of you who don't know, we're a free resource to the entertainment industry, providing up-to-date information and access to experts to support accurate storylines on health and climate change. And we're here to help you with the research so that you can do what you do best, which is tell great stories. So just give us a call, send us an email, we'll get straight to work. I always say operators are standing by to take your calls. And again, it's free. In addition to the daily consultations that we do with a number of shows, we hold panel discussions, screenings, and even take writers on field trips to highlight new developments in science and medicine and provide FaceTime with experts. And we've even begun creating some of our own original content. So here's a little bit of what we've been up to of late. This year we held two panels, one in New York and one in Los Angeles, on the Affordable Care Act. Both were extremely well attended. People stayed long after we planned to be finished. No one left early. Who knew health insurance could be so interesting? And we've also gone global. We launched joint projects in the creative capitals of India and Nigeria, or Bollywood and Nollywood, as they call it, to use the power of entertainment to improve the lives of millions of TV and film viewers in those countries and beyond. And this month, our Nigerian partners responded very quickly to the Ebola crisis by partnering with Facebook and others to create and distribute important health and safety information about this troubling epidemic. Our climate change initiative has been busy this year too. We held a screening and a panel of Extreme Realities, which is a new installment of the acclaimed PBS series Journey to Planet Earth. We took writers for behind-the-scenes look at NASA JPL, and just last month, in the week leading up to the UN Climate Summit, we held the panel titled What's So Funny About Climate Change to a packed house at the Writers Guild East. Oh, and our website got a whole new look, so the next time you log on, there will be no more red. So check it out. Okay, so there's tons more I could tell you about Hollywood Health and Society, but we have awards to hand out, so I'm going to move on. So this year, we received more than 60 entries for the Sentinel Awards, and the competition was really, really fierce. The judging, for those of you who don't know, goes like this. All the entries are first reviewed for eligibility, and then we invite subject matter experts from the CDC and other partner organizations to view and score them on accuracy based on the subject. Then a second round of judging brings advocacy, entertainment, and academic professionals together to rate communication and production value. For those of you who are finalists, that's how you got here. And there's some other people here tonight that I'd like to identify. Some of our judges from the judging process are here with us tonight, as well as some of our experts who work with Hollywood Health and Society to support your shows. So I'd like to ask anybody who's judged or has worked with a show as an expert to please stand up and let us give you a round of applause for your service. And since everybody in this room is being honored, there's no reason for the judges to be worried. And last but not least, I'd like to recognize Armine Kuroyan, our project manager who coordinated tonight's event. She's the lovely lady in the orange dress who you all met. And also to thank Russ DeVita for his design and video editing, and he's hiding behind the screens over there. And I really want to thank all the dedicated, hardworking, tireless staff that never sleeps, that never does anything but think about how they can serve Hollywood Health and Society, and ultimately all of you. These people never take a break. These are the devoted staff of the Lear Center and Hollywood Health and Society, and I want to thank them for going the extra mile each and every day. Tonight, the Sentinel Awards will honor entries in 5 categories: drama, comedy, climate change, children's programming, and reality talk documentary. 11 shows were selected as finalists, and tonight we honor all of you. Congratulations. Marty?
I love this Studio 54 disco ball thing going on. Is this a new venue for some of you? It's pretty amazing that this is tucked away in Hollywood. It's a great site. We're thrilled to use it and glad you could be here. So here's what's going to happen tonight. We'll introduce each category, we'll show clips from the finalists, and then present the award. When your name is called, and it will be called, please come up these steps if you can. If you need a rail, those steps, and then you can return to your seat the same way. The first award tonight is in the category of climate change, and I'm especially pleased tonight that we have a special person who is going to present that award. She has served as a NASA liaison for exploration and space development with Singularity University. She is a consulting professor for Stanford's Department of Cardiovascular Medicine and for the Department of Electrical Engineering. She received recently an honorary PhD in humanities from Fordham University, and she is an astronaut. Please join me in welcoming Dr. and astronaut Yvonne Cagle.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, thank you, and thank you, Marty. I am so very happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here in continued support of the remarkable work that Hollywood Health and Society is doing. And I'm especially delighted to be here to present the awards to shows that are taking climate change as a topic into the next generation by addressing it in real ways now. Now that means that we can take climate change as a current issue and insert it as a compelling issue into popular culture and our everyday conversations. So thank you for bringing it online. Now I remember when I first became intrigued with space as a small girl watching that grainy image of human walking on the moon. At that moment, my dreams took wings, and I too wanted to one day see my footprint on the moon. Now, Earth is by design, and as we look to living systems and how they cross-harmonize and hold each other, we can begin to better understand and to learn not just how to survive, but to sustain and thrive on this wonderful and cherished mothership we call Earth. Moreover, remain mindful that we can also look to space and galactic ecosystems to prove innovation and how to continue to evolve and thrive as we go into distant regenerative environmental systems. And as we gain insight and knowledge and share the exchange of ideas, we can continue to take that giant leap without leaving that intrusive footprint as we continue our journeys, moving forward both on and off planet, as well as between the stars. And speaking of stars, Tonight, we have two finalists in the category of climate change. The first finalist is A Dangerous Year from Showtime's Years of Living Dangerously. This is something that is really important to our conversation and featured Matt Damon. The episode explores how rising temperatures are becoming a public health emergency. Let's take a look.
George Luber from the CDC tells me that in a world of rising temperatures, cities like Los Angeles are especially at risk. He wants to show me why some parts of this city are a magnet for heat, and he invites UCLA professor and atmospheric scientist Alex Hall along to help. They say that to really understand what heat can do on the ground, we need to be up high.
There's a tremendous amount of variation in how hot a neighborhood gets as a result of just the surface characteristics, the trees, the type of buildings, the color of the surface. You know, darker areas absorb more heat. This area has a lot less green space than the other areas we've been flying over.
Yeah.
And that's going to, unfortunately...
So it's going to get hot quicker and it's going to hold on to the heat.
Holds it overnight, yeah.
So if there are more parks in a neighborhood, that neighborhood's going to be cooler.
Absolutely, yeah.
From up here, I realize just how much of LA is covered in concrete and blacktop. And it's the poorest neighborhoods that tend to have the fewest trees, which means they'll be hit the hardest. And according to Alex, climate change is going to make all this worse.
In Los Angeles, we project by mid-century, we're looking at extremely hot days happening maybe the equivalent of 30 days a year, increasing to something like 60, 90 days per year by mid-century if greenhouse gas emissions continue unabated. Right? That's a pretty big difference.
Thank you. Our second finalist is NBC News and Curry Reports, whose report on our year of extremes, Did Climate Change Just Hit Home?, looks at the links between extreme weather events and climate change. Let's watch.
This dazzling icescape seems a world away from the parched farmland we've seen in California or the wildfires we've watched blazing in the Southwest. But it is here in the Arctic that climate scientists say we might find not only some of the most dramatic climate change going on right now on our planet, but also a source of the extreme weather we've been tracking elsewhere.
The Arctic is a very useful bellwether of change, and it's ringing.
American glaciologist Jason Katims has been studying Arctic ice for 20 years, and he says the ice is melting on a scale and at a speed scientists have never imagined possible.
Look at that!
Greenland each year recently is losing about 300 billion tons.
We caught up with Katims in Greenland, home to the massive Jakobshavn Glacier. It's been discharging ice into the sea as icebergs for hundreds of thousands of years. But just in the last 6 years, as captured in this time-lapse video, it has doubled in speed.
Seen this world's fastest glacier lose an ice shelf the size of Manhattan Island while doubling in speed. This is a monumental change.
And ice hasn't been melting at such a furious pace just in the Arctic. Scientists have observed record ice melt all over the globe, from Alaska to Peru, from the Himalayas to the Swiss Alps.
It has changed the whole way of life.
Akuluk Linge is a leader of the Inuit, the indigenous people of the Arctic regions. He said for them, climate change is not a theory, but a fact of life.
The only humans around the North Pole in the Arctic are us. We have been here for thousands of years, and we tell you things are changing.
Thank you, incredible. Now, the second place winner for the Sentinel Award for climate change goes to and Curry Reports. And here to accept the award is Anthony Galloway, supervising producer.
All right, I wasn't sure if I was going to have to say any words, so I'm glad that I did prepare like any good producer. As Yvonne said, I'm Anthony Galloway. I'm a producer, and I'm used to being behind the scenes. And it took an act of God to get me on this stage, literally. Because the reason Ann Curry is not here tonight is that she's currently on assignment at the Vatican. No joke. But I'm especially glad to be here for this honor because I'm a graduate of the University of Southern California Annenberg School. And this award represents what we set out to do with our reporting, to inform, to educate, and to present different points of view that might motivate, if so inclined. This special was Ann's idea. It was actually the first thing she asked me to work on when I joined her team 2 years ago. We spent 5 months just in research before we even shot one frame of tape, and 11 months of production. So this really was, I will never know what it's like to give birth, but this was like giving birth to a baby because we wanted to get all of the facts right, and she believed that it was an important topic and an undercovered topic. I'm sure Ann would also like to give credit to David Corvo and Liz Cole, our executive producers, as well as our team in New York, Justin Balding, Liz Brown, Tim Sandler, and Andrew Tkach. Not to mention the executives at NBC and NBC News, including our senior vice president, Alex Wallace, and President Deborah Turnus, who prioritized this project and gave us an hour in prime time to tell this story. And finally, we're especially grateful to the people we met all around the world, from Greenland to Italy to Washington State, Florida, and here in California, for allowing us to tell their stories and bring this issue to life. Thank you. Thanks again.
And now, the first place winner for the Sentinel Award for Climate Change goes to Years of Living Dangerously, A Dangerous Future. And here to accept the award is one of the most influential and successful people in the entertainment industry. This individual has, over the years, amassed a remarkable and incredible career in feature films, television, theater, music, and so much more, including the films Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13. His current project is Behind the oh my gosh, I love this movie so much. That's why I just, if you haven't seen it, you really have to see it. Behind the Candelabra. This is a story about the premier entertainer and showman, Liberace. But you know, in addition to his professional career, this award recipient is also well known far and wide for his philanthropic effort in a wide variety of worthwhile causes, ranging from health issues to education to the arts, and again, so much more. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Jerry Weintraub.
Thank you very much. I just want to say, I want to thank the fellas, my partners, the executive producers with me, who brought the project to me, Joel Buck and David Gelbar. They wanted to do a movie. I said, you're out of your minds. We'll do a TV series. I went to Showtime, and they said, okay, Jerry, we'll do 8 of them. I said, great, let's do 8. So we did that. So I want to thank Showtime very much for taking a shot. my partners who I brought into the project, James Cameron and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this particular episode was Matt Damon, who's on my Twisted after I paid him about $90 million on the Ocean's movies. and Michael C. Hall. And I just want to say, I know that you have this dream about walking on the moon, putting your footsteps on the moon. Well, I grew up in New York, in the Bronx and Brooklyn, and I had a dream about putting my footsteps not on the moon, and I'm 77 years old, I'm not ready to go up there yet, but I had a dream about putting my handprints and footprints at the Grauman's Chinese Theater, and I got my dream, so you'll get yours. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you again for your time, attention, and support.
Wow. Okay, remember that original content I mentioned a while ago? Well, Hollywood Health and Society decided to take a look at climate change through the eyes of children. And with the support of board members and community partners, we interviewed kids about their thoughts on global warming and their visions of the future. Special shout out to board member Donna Ebbs. Where are you, Donna? Woo! Oh, sorry. And our fearless director, Adam Mellema, who's also there. And you can find this video on our website, which has got a whole new look. Did I mention that? So I encourage you to find it there, share it, tweet it, tumble it, do whatever you can with it. Let's get it out there because it's really one of those out of the mouths of babes. So please enjoy.
In the future?
Hopefully in the future it will be a lot cleaner.
A different place and a shiny place and flying cars.
No houses, no roads, and just trees.
Future? Like when I'm a grown-up?
All I know is it's gonna be like robot-y and stuff. People just living in the trees, and trees have nice big branches to sleep in. Sequoia or oak tree would be good because they have nice big branches.
The Earth is getting warmer because there's more pollution.
If we don't make any changes, it'll just eventually get worse and worse. It's hurting the animals, and like ice is melting.
Where all the polar bears are, they won't have a piece of ice to stand on. It's just gonna melt into water. They're gonna have to swim for their life. Kind of sad.
Global warming is where the pollution that we make go up into the atmosphere and create the greenhouse effect, where the gases trap the heat from the sun in our atmosphere, so it gets warmer.
It gets really warm and some things disappear.
We will not have any water left to drink. You can't wash your hands, you can't drink water.
It'll be like Death Valley.
Don't worry, because we're gonna make a change. Some solutions are not to use gas. Start walking, like you're going to a friend's house across the street. Don't drive when you can like walk or you can ride your bikes. Start using eco-friendly things.
If there were more trees and less houses, global warming won't be so bad.
Anyway, you just have to deal with it.
Make better factories so they're more efficient and they don't put out so much carbon dioxide. I think if we work together, we can all make a big difference. This is the only place that I'm ever going to be able to live, so I have to try to keep it as beautiful and awesome as I can.
They say in show business, never follow kids or animals. So I'm violating part of that. Our next category is comedy. We have 2 finalists in the comedy category. The first is from HBO, from the series Getting On, and the episode, yes, anytime you want to bust in with applause, especially the HBO table, please. The episode's called Born on the 4th of July. It takes a wonderfully bleak look at the healthcare system in an extended care hospital ward. Have a look.
There's one other thing. I need that bed, the disease.
I can't. It's already spoken for. We have an Alzheimer's patient. Kind of burned herself really badly.
Have anything else opening up?
Nothing.
It's for a patient recovering from prostate surgery.
A man?
Well, obviously.
Beverly will flip.
Well,
I give her
we have to
Betaway
rehash
and a
this
man
every
that's
single time I want a bed. None of these women are ever going to know the difference if there's a man on the floor.
Mrs. Robinson might.
Okay, what's the situation there?
She had shoulder surgery and is in rehab, but the physical therapist said that she's progressing very nicely, so maybe next week.
Mrs. Robinson, I can take a look at her, and then if all goes well, Dawn, you will make sure that I get what I want. Yes, good.
Hello, fellas. I'm sorry you're giving up your holidays, but bonus points for diligence. Glad to see you finally with us, Mr. Cesario. We have 36 beds on the floor, 14 subacute, 17 dementia and Alzheimer's, ventilator suite. Hello, Irma. ¿Cómo está? Know your population. In Southern California, if it looks like a melanoma, it is a melanoma. Save yourself the trouble. Just cut it out. Hello. I'm Dr. Jenna James. How are you? You know where you are? You're in the Billy Barnes Extended Care Unit. Do you know what day it is?
She doesn't seem to speak much English. This is Dr. James. She's our director of medicine.
Temporarily. I'm just filling in until they get someone permanent. I'm actually a real doctor over at the hospital. Do you have a chart?
She actually doesn't have one. She was an emergency admit last night. Dee Dee, the Long Beach PD picked her up wandering along the shoulder of the 110 near San Pedro in her nightgown.
That's what they said. It's increasingly common.
So we actually don't know who she is. I know she has a very high temperature.
She has a high temperature.
Her blood pressure is low.
Low blood pressure.
And she's confused.
Very confused.
I mean, we think it's confusion, but because of the language.
We really can't tell, so we're going to assume that she's confused.
The second finalist is from Showtime's also darkly funny Nurse Jackie, and the episode is called Sidecars and Spermicide. I think writers must work more on the titles of their episodes than as the script, which focuses on the hilarious topic of substance abuse. Clip, please.
Okay? Yeah. Why don't you keep going? Oh, stop! Gloria!
Jesus, you're really in pain. Well, I spoke to my sponsor. I get a prescription for pain medication from Coop, and you administer it. It's 2 enough.
Dick Richards, DEA Diversion Control. We're investigating the stolen DEA card of a Dr. Carrie Roman.
You know the drill, people. Well, I'm screwed. You don't have to worry about anything, Jackie. We will delay your testing until your foot is healed.
All right. Have a seat.
Look, I'm going to be straight with you. I am a former drug addict. I was in treatment 2 years ago. I've been sober ever since. I go to meetings a couple times a week. I have a sponsor. But I understand why my name might come up during something like this, so I am happy to answer any and all questions you might have.
I was using on the job for years. Do you know how many evidence files got lost up my nose?
Wow. Okay. It's not what I was expecting, but it's inspiring to see somebody else making it work.
Yeah. I did some pretty low shit. Once, I checked into rehab just to get out of going to my own mother's funeral. But Recovery stuck. I've been clean ever since.
Congratulations. That's great. So,
Did you steal Dr. Roman's prescriber number?
no, I did not.
Thank you, Nurse Payton. We're done here. Mrs. Acolytis, it says here you got a prescription yesterday from Dr. Cooper. Vicodin?
Yes. Arthritis. I was having a flare-up with my feet, so I asked Dr. Cooper for a prescription.
Well, then it seems a little surprising that your urine analysis came back clean. 0 traces of Vicodin. Care to explain?
It's my great pleasure to present the second place Sentinel Award for comedy to Nurse Jackie. And I get to do something I have always wanted to do, which is I've never received a Sentinel Award. I have not worked on Nurse Jackie, but they are in production in New York and unable to be here. And so on behalf of Nurse Jackie, I accept the Sentinel Award. Thank you. Now, I'm delighted that we have a special presenter tonight to give the first place award for comedy. One of the stars of our winning show. She is an Emmy-nominated actress and writer, a multi-talent who is best known and will forever be in my heart and many others for voicing Lois Griffin on the Fox mega hit Family Guy. She played the hilarious and unforgettable Ms. Swan on Mad TV, and of course for her role as Nurse Dawn in Getting On. Please welcome Alice Borstein. Alex. Thank you.
Never won anything before, thank you. Wow. I feel like no matter what I say, I'm gonna look like an idiot next to the astronaut doctor. So thanks for that. An astronaut and a doctor, really? And how tall are you? 5'8". Just keeps getting worse for me. Thank you so much for having us here. It is truly an honor. I was told to get up and talk about what is special to me about making this show, and there's 2 things really that I can point out. One, we work with a cast of tremendously gifted elderly women who are beautiful and have such amazing stories to tell and amazing faces. And really the best part is that I look so young and fucking hot next to these women. I am like a piece of something special on the set. It's phenomenal. So that's one fantastic thing. The other is, and this is true, my grandmother was one of the most important people in my life. And every time I really do reach out on the set and have one of these women's hands in my hand and look at the lines on their hands and the veins and the skin, so transparent and so delicate, I'm kind of reminded of her every day, and the show does exactly that. It's this thin, transparent sheet that is shining a light on such a beautiful time in people's ages and our healthcare system that is in need of some revamping. So I feel so lucky to work on this show, and here to accept the award, I'm presenting the award, the #1 amazing, awesome Sentinel Award recipient, Chris Vargas, producer of Getting On.
you so much. We're thrilled to get this award. The show means so much to us. Mark Olson and Will Shefford, the executive producers, are stuck in the editing room, but they wish they could be here, and thank you so much. And on behalf of our partners at the BBC, we'd like to thank HBO for continuing to support us, especially Mike Lombardo. And it's my great joy every day to go to work and work with people like Alex Borstein and Niecy Nash and Laurie Metcalf. They're just the greatest, and thank you very much.
And November 9th.
And November 9th, we premiere 6 episodes. It's going to be great. Please watch. Thank you.
I get to follow kids, dogs, an astronaut, and Alex Borstein, so don't fall asleep. Okay, reality talk documentary. This category has 3 finalists. The first is HBO's Life According to Sam, which explores progeria. I won't embarrass you if you don't know what it is. It's a genetic condition where symptoms of aging appear early on in one's life. The documentary follows the heartfelt story of Sam Burns and his family as they dedicate their lives to finding a cure for this condition. Let's take a look.
I kind of just want my mom to be done with progeria for her sake, because she doesn't have a normal job. I mean, she has a job, but it's not the normal kind of job where you go in, you do what you're supposed to do, you get paid, and you can leave whenever you want at your own risk. My mom will keep working forever until progeria is cured and she doesn't have to.
When we found the gene for progeria, hundreds of doors opened for us. There was a drug, lonafarnib, that had already been developed for over 10 years. It was developed for other diseases with protein abnormalities that are similar to what we see in progeria. Hey! Ciao. Ciao? Ciao. Ciao? Hey, slap me 5. Ouch!
Our next finalist is from Our America with Lisa Ling on OWN. In Black America's Silent Epidemic, Lisa Ling investigates why the HIV rate is disproportionately high in this community. She meets HIV-positive men and women who are fighting both the stigma and the disease. Let's take a look.
Why do you think your husband chose to not disclose his status to you? It's a pretty big thing to withhold.
To leave out, yes. Well, I can just tell you what he said. It was because he thought that I would leave, that I wouldn't want to be involved with him.
A year later, Kimberly did leave her husband, but she couldn't let go of what she feared others would say about her own diagnosis.
At the time of my diagnosis, I was very involved with my church. I had grown so much spiritually, and this seemed like a total setback to me. When people first mention HIV and AIDS, the initial thoughts are drug use, being promiscuous. I didn't want people to think that that was my situation because it wasn't.
Kimberly hoped she would find acceptance in her community church in Arizona. What was the reaction of your church when you came out?
Initially, it was one of embracing me, and we're here for you. But as time went on, I started to see some of the stigma and ignorance that they had. people seeming as if they were being more careful around me.
So what did it feel like when they rejected you?
It was very hurtful because I was so far away from my natural family. They had become my family.
Shunned and shamed by her former parish, Kimberly decided to keep her secret to herself and away from those she loved most.
There was the darkness of not being able to share with my family, being a part of a church family that I really couldn't share with either. I really came to understand how a secret can really haunt you, how a secret can really break you.
A realization that came to Kimberly one morning in prayer.
I heard God say, I'm going to remove all of your shame, and I'm going to use you in a mighty way.
At that moment, Kimberly found her purpose. She would use her voice to break through the silence. If she were struggling, surely others were as well.
Our third entry highlights the tragic realities of post-traumatic stress, depression, and suicide among America's veterans. Since 2001, more veterans have died by their own hand than in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. HBO's Crisis Hotline, Veterans Press One, spotlights the Veterans Crisis Line, which receives more than 22,000 calls each month.
He is struggling with some PTSD episodes at this point.
So how many years have you been suffering with the PTSD and the nightmares?
We're going to stay on the line with him, hopefully, until you can get out there. Barbara, I'm getting you on IM.
I've heard lots of people cry, and you know what? Sometimes tears are the catharsis that you need to let out some stuff. I mean, I know that you're having seen this guy get shot in the face was really an awful thing, but at the same time, it wasn't your fault, and I feel like you are blaming yourself somehow.
I got 2 cars and an ambulance en route.
So when you say that, you're talking about an enemy combatant that you killed?
Barbara, I am. We're waiting on the police because the police have to go and make sure that it's safe for EMS to go in because he threatened to cut himself open with a razor blade. And that alone will stop EMS from going in on their own. They have to wait for the police. This is the difficult part, waiting for the police to get there, hoping that he doesn't do something.
Did you ever know anybody else in your unit to die of suicide?
They should be there any second now.
He hung up on me.
Okay, and that might be because he heard something.
No, he's crying. He's exhausted.
Even on a routine call, we shouldn't wait this long.
I'm gonna try to call him back.
I'm gonna call the police back.
Brian? Okay.
Hey, Sanchez, it's Robert again. Any chance we know where the police might be at this point? I called it in about 1:15.
Okay, there you go. Did you take some of your pills?
We're trying to really keep him on the line until you guys get on scene. Thank you so much. Bye now.
The biggest problem is struggling with your PTSD and how it's affecting you daily and how it's affecting your family. You're just so lost inside your PTSD.
She's calming him down.
These are all really, really intense. Okay, our third place award goes to Our America with Lisa Ling, and here to accept the award is David Shadrack Smith, executive producer.
I prepared nothing because I'm so used to losing to HBO. But that's the way it goes. I did want to say that it's a great room to be in because not only are all these projects incredibly worthy, they're also great storytelling and great craft, and that's what breaks through. That's what gets the messages that everyone is trying to portray out into the world. At 5 seasons with Our America at the Oprah Winfrey Network, we got to do all kinds of stories, and occasionally we got to sneak through some that really were just critically important to tell about our world now. And I have Oprah Winfrey to thank for that, have Lisa Ling especially to thank for that, and one of the greatest executive producers at OWN, Jill Dickerson, who I'll let say a word or two.
Thank you. I have nothing to say, but working with David and Part 2 Pictures has been amazing. They're at CNN now. I wish them the best of luck. They tell beautiful, important stories. Thank you.
Okay, second place goes to Crisis Hotline Veterans Press 1. And accepting is Kevin Mahoney from HBO. Congratulations. I don't know.
I'll just go for it then if we're not going to take a picture. I brought a mini speech. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the other finalists. It's amazing being here with people who are making such great television and film. I am accepting on behalf of the filmmakers and the HBO execs who are based in New York, who could not fly out here to LA, maybe because of Obama traffic or just because they couldn't make it. But I know that they are incredibly appreciative and are honored by this recognition. So thank you very much.
Okay, so that means that first place goes to Life According to Sam, and here to accept is James Consiglio, editor. And I said it wrong. I practiced and practiced, and I still said it wrong. What did I say?
You said James.
Oh my God. Jeff Consiglio. Okay, sorry. Here, we need your
an
trophy.
award.
We need your trophy. You got me all flustered. Okay.
Can we do it again?
All right, here, just talk amongst yourselves.
Thank you. I've never had somebody get my last name right and my first name wrong. I have to echo what everybody else has said so far, that it's an incredible honor to be amongst these films that shine a light on these large global issues, while we were shining a light on one of the smallest things that exists on our planet right now, a rare disease that affects about 300 kids at any given time, progeria. We knew we had to tell the story of this disease that nobody knows anything about. Leslie Gordon, Scott Burns, Audrey Gordon, who created this foundation to try to eradicate this disease from these children and from the world. What we didn't know is that we were going to fall so deeply in love with Sam Burns, who was our subject. And we fell in love with him because, not because he was the sick kid, but because he was joyous. He might very well have been the most coolest kid I ever knew. And I think that the other people I worked with on this film would agree. Sean Fine and Andrea Nix Fine, directors of this film, send their gratitude and their regrets for not being here. I haven't seen Sam on this film since he passed away in January, so I'm a little bit beside myself because of watching him up there. So bear with me. But we owe this moment and all of our moments to Sheila Nevins and Nancy Abraham at HBO. Their courage and commitment to this project over the course of 3 years that it took us to make it was completely unexpected and unprecedented. They also fell in love with Sam Burns. So we have tremendous gratitude to them. I have great gratitude to Sean and Andrea for making the phone call to me one day and inviting me to work on this project. And I have tremendous pride for having known Sam for a brief period of time. And anybody that is aware of the Progeria Research Foundation, they are continuing their fight They are stronger than ever right now. They have all of these children that they're trying to save, and they're heading straight for the cure. So they need more light shined on them. They need more attention shined on them. And we are very, very honored tonight to have a brief moment to put some more light onto their quest. So thank you for this, and as always, this and everything else is for Sam. Thank you.
And I was so practicing the last name, and I just blew it on the first name. Okay, next up, children's programming. Disney Junior's Doc McStuffins has won the hearts of children and adults alike. I don't even have small children, and I watch it regularly, okay? The series features a little girl who wants to become a doctor like her mother, and as soon as she puts on her stethoscope, her toys and dolls and stuffed animals all come to life. And Doc helps the toys feel better by giving them checkups and diagnosing them in the Big Book of Boo-Boos. This episode, called Don't Knock the Noggin, something that the NFL should learn, helps kids understand the importance of wearing a helmet when riding a bike. Take a look.
I noticed you keep shaking your head to get your thoughts straight. I wonder... Yep, looks like you have a computer chip in there, Steve.
That's right, Doc Dude. Well, that chip helps me do all my rad tricks. Tricks!
Aha! I see what the problem is. I have a diagnosis. You have loose chip ptosis. Your chip is loose, and that's why you can't do your stunts the right way.
Wait a second. Do I have a computer chip in my head, too? A loose chip would explain a lot.
You and Lammy are stuffed, so you don't have computer chips. And I don't have one either.
Oh, well, that's good news.
But all of us need to take good care of our heads. Chip or no chip. That's why we wear helmets. Let me just tighten this up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that feels so much better. Extreme! Exciting! Super Stuntman Steve rides again!
Yeah! Stuntman Steve! So, Steve, where's your helmet?
On my head. Whoa, Doc Dude, it's not on my head. I don't know. I always wear a helmet. Oh, not rad. Not rad. I never do a trick without my helmet. It must have fallen off. I didn't even notice. Oh.
I bet that's how you knocked your chip loose.
If we don't find that helmet, I won't be able to do any more stunts. And then I'll have to change my name to Not Very Amazing Steve. Not rad.
And I'm very, very glad to present the Sentinel Award for Children's Programming to Doc McStuffins. And here to accept the award is the RAD executive producer, Chris Nee.
That was a very suspenseful category for us. We were the only ones nominated, so. I think the most important thing that's happened with the Sentinel Health Awards in the last year is that the Lears have bought wine. So that is a great advancement, and I'm very excited about it. This speech brought to you by the Lears. Doc McStuffins is a show that we couldn't do without Hollywood Health and Society because they actually review all of our episodes. So please use them as a resource. They're actually fantastic. They don't push anything down your throat, so that's great. I think one of the great joys of what all of us do in this room is we have work that's incredibly meaningful. We all make TV, and so like de facto, we're cool. And you're automatically going to be like the most awesome person at your high school reunion. Done. You know, I work on Sesame Street and Deadliest Catch. Done. But getting to do the kinds of stories that we're doing here is the work that makes us take a step above and get to do things that we know are not the crappy side of television. So I'm the preschool person here, so there you go. It's just important to remember that one of our jobs is to inspire the next generation of people who want to step on the moon or become doctors. And that's one of the things that Doc has done so successfully. Last week I went to meet with a group of African-American doctors who have started an organization because of Doc McStuffins. They make up only 1.8% of the doctors in this country. And that's kind of shameful. And they told a story of one of these female doctors watching Doc McStuffins with her son about 6 months into the show being on the air. And her son turned to her and said, "Mom, can boys be doctors too?" To which I would say, maybe someday, maybe. But I think we just have to remember that what we do is so important and the images that we present are so important. And a huge thank you to Disney Junior for supporting us, to my incredible writing staff who are right over there, really psyched about the wine and the dinner, and our composers, Michelle and Kay, and my wife, Lisa. So thank you so much.
Am I the only one who wants Chris's jacket? Our next category is drama. And out of the many terrific entries in this category, 2 rose to the top. The first, an episode from NBC's Parenthood, for its story about Hank, played by Ray Romano, who learns more than he expects about Asperger's. Let's watch.
Give me that filter right there.
No, you said that we would develop my photos today. You promised.
I know. Look, I got that, but this came up, all right?
No!
Max, I got to do this.
You said that we develop my pictures today.
I get that, okay? This is a big job. This job pays for me to develop your pictures.
Okay, fine. Then we will develop my pictures first, like the plan that we had, and then you can do yours.
All right, Max, listen, we're not developing your pictures today,
So great.
okay?
So you're a liar.
Did you...
You lied.
Did you hear what I said? We got to do the shoot.
No, you promised.
Max. Hey! Oh!
Screw you, Hank! Yeah!
Max!
Listen, I wanted to apologize to you for Max's blow-up the other day.
Yeah, no.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. How's he? He's okay? Is he mad at me still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Max can be kind of stubborn, but you handled the situation really well, so.
Yeah, but he does that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got it into his head that you lied to him, which I'm sure isn't true, and
yeah,
it's typical of Max that he can't let things go. So it's irrational, it's frustrating, but I just want you to know, don't take it personally.
No, I don't. I mean, to be honest, I did break a promise to him, so.
Well, that happens.
Yeah.
And he needs to learn how to deal with that.
Yeah.
And I brought you this book on Asperger's syndrome. I don't know if you have time to read it, but it might help understand Max a little bit better because we really want this to work out here. I mean, we love that he comes here. It's been really good for him.
Yeah, no, so. I know. Relax.
Okay.
I mean, I like him. I like the kid, so it's not that complicated, really.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
If you want to, hopefully it'll be of some help.
Yeah. Listen, do I not pick up on cues?
What?
Social cues, like Max.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I need something. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep at all. I've been up all night. I need alcohol, anything with alcohol in it.
Okay.
You don't got nothing. Nothing. Not a beer.
Do.
Not one
I don't have
single
beer, but hold on.
Hey,
let me.
What kind of
pour you
place is
something.
this?
What is that
How do you not
book?
have
What is
beer?
going on?
Max, he flipped out. He had a meltdown the other day,
Okay.
And even that, even that. I used to have huge meltdowns all the time. And once this kid cheated me trading baseball cards, and I flipped out. I mean, I flipped the hell out on this kid.
What's that book?
It was
What is
nothing.
happening?
I was reading this book for Max. I'm reading it for the kid, and then all of a sudden, I'm not reading about the kid anymore. I'm reading about me.
The next finalist comes from ABC Family's Switched at Birth. In this clip, Cameron considers a cochlear implant a controversial choice among the deaf community.
Can you hear me? Can you? You do? You hear what I'm saying? This is sound, darling. This is it. Say something. Try talking.
Hello? I can hear that. I hear my dog.
You sound great.
These two finalists came this close in the judging decision. They're both enormously worthy. I'm pleased to present the second place drama award to Switched at Birth, executive producer Joy Gregory accepted.
How do you like my jacket? You okay? So it is astonishing to admit that the deaf element that is so integral to the world of Switched at Birth came from a network note. Lizzie Weiss, our creator, had already sold the series about two teenage girls who discover in the pilot that they were switched at birth. To ABC Family, and in developing the idea, the note was given to raise the stakes in the difference between the two families. So we had cultural differences, we had differences in socioeconomic backgrounds, and the note came, what about a difference in physical ability for one of the girls? And Lizzie had taken ASL and was interested in deaf culture. So Daphne, one of the two girls, became deaf, a network note that opened thousands of stories to us, stories that had never been told on series television. We were warned early on that telling stories of the deaf experience meant there was no way to avoid making some deaf people really mad at us at some point, and that turned out to be true, which is, you know, a challenge anytime you're standing up to tell stories for a marginalized community, and that's a challenge that's been ongoing, which is probably why it took us until the 34th episode to take on a story about a cochlear implant. It's a divisive topic in the deaf community. But we had already learned that the best way to tell our stories was to move through the controversy and try to make it specific and personal. So ultimately, we wanted to take on the issue by presenting all sides of it in a non-judgmental way and just showing a family going through change. So thank you so much to Hollywood Health and Society for recognizing the work we do on Switched at Birth. Thank you.
Check out Joy's shoes, by the way. The winner of the first place drama award goes to Parenthood, accepting his executive producer, Jason Katims.
Thank you. All right. So my son, who is the inspiration for the character Max Braverman, is turning 18 in 2 weeks, making him an adult with autism. My friends who have kids this age are making big decisions with their children. Which of the many universities out there will they attend? What will be their focus, their major, their first car, their internships, their direction? With my son, I'm wondering not which, but if. If there is a college out there where he can thrive, later an employer, a community that will understand him, get him, empathize with him, tolerate his idiosyncrasies, and appreciate his many assets. But the roadmap, once he graduates high school, gets even more unexplored and unclear than the road that has led up to it. I don't know what exactly is in store for my son, but I know that his future success will be directly related to the level of understanding the world has toward him and other young adults like him. My hope is that we all grow to better understand these quirky, sometimes frustrating, and usually beautiful people who are living in the cracks of the world around them. That we learn how much adults affected by autism and Asperger's syndrome have to offer the world if given the chance. We are shooting the last handful of episodes of Parenthood now. We are almost done telling the stories of Hank Rizzoli and Max Braverman. Yet I know that Hank Rizzoli's story is far from finished, nor is Max's. These are ongoing stories, and the lucky thing is we don't have to tune into Parenthood to see them. Hank Rizzoli's and Max Braverman's are around us every single day. They're out there if we want to see them, and I can tell you that from my experience, that every single one of them, high functioning or low functioning, verbal or nonverbal, social or isolated, every single one of them has a ton to offer this world. Thank you for watching Parenthood. Thank you for embracing the Hank Rizzoli's and the Max Bravermans of the world. I love Max, I love Hank, and it's been my distinct honor to tell their stories. Being a father to Sawyer for the past 18 years and telling the stories on Parenthood for the past 6 has simply made me a better writer and a better person. So on behalf of Ray Romano and Max Burkholder, along with the rest of our cast and crew, our writers and producers, and myself, we want to thank the Sentinel Awards for this honor. We are so proud to have been able to tell these stories. Thank you.
finally, an extraordinary film received very high scores. It earned a Sentinel Award for Drama TV Movie. Set in the 1980s at the onset of the HIV/AIDS crisis, HBO's The Normal Heart takes an unflinching look at the nation's sexual politics as gay activists and their allies in the medical community fight to expose the truth about the burgeoning epidemic to a nation in denial.
Have you had any of the symptoms?
Most of the shit the Times said, amoebas, gonorrhea, hepatitis, you don't know what it's been like since the sexual revolution.
What makes you think I don't? Any fever, night sweats, weight loss?
Don't I wish? No.
And purple lesions? Open your mouth. It's a cancer. There's a strange reaction in the immune system. It's collapsed. Won't fight. So the diseases most of my patients are coming down with are brought on by germs that wouldn't hurt a baby.
Ticklish.
At least not a baby in New York City, anyway. And the immune system is the system we know the least about. So, where's this big mouth I hear you've got?
Is big mouth a symptom?
No, it's a cure. I've had to admit some of them under other illnesses. That's a no-no. I've got 20 in private rooms they can't afford.
Okay, what about the guys who don't have health insurance? Artists, actors?
I've got 8 of them in another ward where I shouldn't put them.
Why don't you wear gloves and a face mask?
I never have, and I never will, and I'm still here.
Why is all the food sitting outside the rooms like this? It's getting cold.
It's always cold because the appropriate staff won't bring it into the room, so it sits and rots until one of my staff can.
Park right there. Right there. Yeah, by the wall. Park there. Yeah. Right through the tunnel. Take the tunnel. We'll take the book back.
I know him. Can I go inside with you?
Only if you wear all the protective shit.
If you don't, I don't.
I'm honored to present the Drama TV Movie Award to The Normal Heart, accepting executive producer Dante Di Loreto. Yes.
Thank you. It's the end of the evening. I'll be as brief as I can. This is a great honor, and on behalf of my fellow producers and director Ryan Murphy and the incredible cast who brought this film to life, thank you. Thank you to the organization, to HBO for having the commitment to make the film. It took Larry Kramer 30 years. It was 30 years of his life before this film became reality, and. You know, he's a fascinating man. He's an angry man. He's full of fight. We had a lot of fights making the movie. And the only thing I can think of is we don't have 30 years. We don't have 30 years to address global warming. We don't have 30 years to address the critical illnesses that face so many millions of people in the world. So making a movie is kind of a leisurely activity. And what Larry taught me is you have to go out and you have to make noise, and you have to make noise tomorrow. You have to make noise tonight. You have to alienate your friends and your family because you're making so much noise because these issues are so important. So thank you to HHS for bringing attention to these issues, and thank you all for being here.
So we pride ourselves at Hollywood Health and Society at making sure that your appointment with your pillow is not too late. And tonight we've achieved that goal as well. I would like to ask you to please join me in applauding all the nominees and all the winners tonight. For those of you who are nominees and winners, we would be thrilled to take additional pictures of you with your awards outside. And for all of you who came, all of you who support the program, who use us for help, for all the judges and the staff and the Writers Guild who support us, thank you all. Thanks for coming. Good night.